The yard that never sleeps. Before we go any deeper, do this now. Subscribe, like, and comment if you dare. Because once you hear what happened inside San Quentin, you will not forget it. The siren started before dawn, slicing to the cold bay air like a warning nobody could ignore. Red and blue lights flooded the outer walls of San Quentin State Prison, bouncing off razor wire and concrete that had caged California's most dangerous men for more than a century. Guards sprinted across the yard. Tower rifles were raised. Radios crackled with one word, repeated over and over again. Code Black. Inside Facility D, the body lay face down in the shadow of the exercise wall. Inmate Raymond Calderon, serving life without parole, was already cold. His hands were bound behind his back with prison-issued bedsheets, twisted tight enough to cut circulation. There were no obvious wounds, no blood pooling beneath him, just a single mark on the back of his neck, small, precise, and deliberate. This was not a fight gone wrong. This was an execution. By sunrise, San Quentin was locked down, cells sealed, phones cut, movement frozen. Even seasoned correctional officers felt it, that quiet pressure in the air, the sense that something had shifted inside the prison. Calderon was not just another lifer. He was an informant, and someone had made sure he would never talk again. Lieutenant Marcus Hale arrived just as investigators finished photographing the body. Hale had spent 23 years working inside San Quentin. He knew its rhythms, its lies, and its unspoken rules. The prison never truly slept, and it never forgot. He crouched near Calderon's body, studying the bindings, the angle of the neck, the calmness of the scene. No signs of a struggle, one investigator said. He didn't even try to run. Hale looked up slowly. That means he trusted whoever brought him here. Trust inside San Quentin was rarer than mercy. Calderon had been a shot caller once, connected to multiple prison gangs, moving influence across racial lines. Then something changed. 3 weeks earlier, he requested protective custody. 2 days after that, he was placed back into general population due to administrative error. Hale had argued against it. Someone high up overruled him. Now Calderon was dead. By mid-morning, the news reached outside the walls. Marin County detectives were called in. So was Special Agent Rebecca Lawson from the California Department of Corrections Internal Affairs. Lawson had built her career investigating crime committed by men who were already behind bars, and the staff who sometimes helped them. She stepped into the yard with a notebook in hand, and eyes already scanning for what others missed. She noticed the cameras first. Camera 14, she said, pointing to the corner tower. What's its status? A guard hesitated. Down for maintenance. Has been for a week. Lawson wrote it down. Cameras did not just go down in San Quentin. They were taken down. Calderon's cell was searched next. What they found made the case heavier. Hidden beneath his mattress was a folded piece of paper, wrapped in plastic. Names, dates, yard schedules, guard rotations, payment amounts, and one phrase written in block letters at the bottom. The gate. Lawson stared at it longer than the others. This isn't a gang hit, she said quietly. This is something organized. As the day dragged on, rumors spread through the cell blocks. Some said Calderon had snitched on the wrong people. Others whispered that he was planning to expose a smuggling ring that ran straight through the prison, from the yard to the outside world. Phones buzzed illegally in cells. Messages were sent and deleted. The wolves listened. In cell block B, inmate Daniel Mercer sat on his bunk, staring at the concrete floor. Mercer was serving 25 to life for armed robbery turned homicide. He was quiet, observant, and had survived 10 years without a single write-up. Guards trusted him. Inmates left him alone. What no one knew was that Mercer had been Calderon's last visitor. The logbook showed it clearly. Yard access, 15 minutes. Unsupervised, due to staff shortage. When Lawson questioned Mercer that evening, he did not deny it. He asked for help. Mercer said calmly, hands folded, said he was in trouble. What kind of trouble? Lawson asked. The kind you don't walk away from. Mercer claimed Calderon was paranoid, convinced someone called the gate was closing in on him. He said Calderon believed the prison itself was involved, that guards were being paid to move drugs, weapons, and people. When Lawson asked why Mercer did not report the conversation, he met her eyes. Because in here, reporting gets you buried faster than silence. Mercer would return to his cell, but Lawson was not convinced. Something in his tone was too controlled, too prepared. That night, Lieutenant Hale stayed late, walking the tiers long after lockdown. He stopped outside Calderon's former cell. The mattress was gone, the walls bare, but etched faintly into the metal frame was a symbol, scratched deep enough to last. A gate, half open. Hale felt a chill crawl up his spine. At 2:17 a.m., an alert came in from the east perimeter. Motion sensor triggered. Then another, and another. Guards rushed to the towers. Spotlight snapped on, sweeping the yard. Nothing. No escape. No intruder. Just silence. The next morning, Lawson received a call that made her grip the phone tighter. A correctional officer named Tom Ivias had not shown up for his shift. His locker was found open, empty, his car abandoned near the Richmond shoreline. Ivias' name was on Calderon's list. As the investigation widened, pressure mounted from Sacramento. Media inquiries flooded in. San Quentin's administration insisted the murder was isolated, contained, under control. Lawson knew better. When crimes happened inside these walls, they never stayed contained. She returned to the evidence room that evening, alone. Calderon's personal effects were laid out neatly. Clothes, letters, photos yellowed with age, and the paper with a list. This time, she unfolded it completely. On the back, written smaller, almost as an afterthought, was an address. Not a cell block, not a yard. An underground access point beneath San Quentin itself, a place not marked on any official map. Lawson exhaled slowly, because if Calderon was right, if the gate was real, then San Quentin was not just holding dangerous men. It was hiding something far worse. And whatever lay beneath that prison had already started killing to stay buried. Beneath the concrete, San Quentin had always been built to keep people in. But as Rebecca Lawson stood in the dim corridor below Facility D, she realized the prison had also been designed to hide things no one was meant to find. The access point Calderon had written down led to an old service tunnel, sealed off decades earlier after an electrical fire. Officially, it was abandoned. Unofficially, it still had power. Lawson knew that because the fluorescent lights above her flickered to life one by one as she and Lieutenant Hale moved deeper underground, escorted by two armed officers who looked more nervous with every step. The air was stale, heavy with rust and salt from bay seeping through concrete cracks. The tunnel walls were scarred with markings, some old, some disturbingly fresh. Symbols, numbers, and again, that half-open gate. This place isn't on any current blueprint, Hale muttered. I work here 23 years. Nobody mentioned this. That's the point, Lawson replied. They reached a reinforced steel door at the tunnel's end. It was newer than the surrounding structure, installed recently. A keypad glowed faintly. Hale frowned. Who authorized this? No one answered. The door was unlocked. Inside was not a storage room, not a utility hub, but a fully operational corridor leading toward the outer wall of the prison. Cameras lined the ceiling. Motion sensors hummed softly, and stacked neatly against one wall were sealed crates, unmarked except for shipping codes. Lawson opened one. Cell phones, dozens of them, still in plastic. In another crate, syringes and vials. In another, blades wrapped in cloth. Tools of control, communication, and murder. This is a pipeline, Hale said, his voice low, straight through the prison. Lawson felt the weight of it settle in her chest. Calderon had not been exaggerating. The gate was real, and it was not run by inmates alone. They barely had time to process the discovery before alarms erupted above them. Not a drill, a full emergency lockdown. The radios crackled. Inmate altercation in Block C, officer down. They ran. By the time they reached Block C, the damage was done. Officer Luis Moreno lay on the floor near the showers, bleeding heavily from a stab wound to the abdomen. He was alive, barely, but his attacker was gone. Witnesses said it happened fast, too fast. A distraction near the doors, lights flickering, then a single strike and chaos. Moreno had been another name on Calderon's list. As medics rushed him out, Lawson noticed something else. Surveillance cameras in Block C had gone dark at the exact moment of the attack, just like camera 14 in the yard. Someone was controlling the system. That night, Lawson ordered all remaining named staff into protective rotation. But protection inside San Quentin was an illusion. By morning, one of the witnesses from Block C recanted his statement. Another was found unconscious in his cell, overdosed on smuggled medication. Fear was spreading faster than facts. Daniel Mercer felt it too. From his cell, he watched guards move differently now, hands closer to their weapons, eyes darting. Inmates whispered about the gate like it was a ghost story, something that punished anyone who spoke too loudly. Mercer knew better. He had seen the tunnel once, years ago, when he was still new and curious. He had been warned never to mention it again. Now Calderon was dead because he did. When Lawson returned to question Mercer, he surprised her by asking for a deal. "I tell you what I know," he said, voice steady. "But you move me out of here. Tonight." Lawson studied him. "You're already in San Quentin. Where exactly do you think I can move you?" "Anywhere that isn't under their control." Mercer leaned forward. "The gate isn't just smuggling. It's leverage. Inmates get favors. Guards get paid. Administrators get silence. And anyone who tries to shut it down disappears." "Who runs it?" Lawson asked. Mercer hesitated. "It used to be inmates. Now it's bigger, cleaner. Someone on the outside coordinates it. But the orders come from inside the walls." "Names," Lawson said. Mercer swallowed. "Warden Charles Avery." The accusation hit like a gunshot. Avery was a respected figure, publicly committed to reform and transparency. He had testified before oversight committees, spoken at conferences, been praised for lowering violence rates. He was also the only person with full access to every system Lawson had seen compromised. Before Lawson could respond, the lights flickered again, then went out completely. Emergency generators kicked in seconds later, but those seconds were enough. Gunfire echoed down the tier. Guards shouted orders. Inmates screamed. Smoke filled the air from a fire deliberately set near the control room. In the confusion, Mercer's cell door slid open. When order was restored, Mercer was gone. So was one of the escorting officers. Lawson stood in the aftermath, heart pounding, knowing they had just lost their most critical witness. Hale joined her, face grim. "This wasn't spontaneous," he said. "They knew exactly when to strike." Lawson nodded, and they wanted Mercer alive. They searched the prison top to bottom. No sign of him. But at the old tunnel entrance beneath Facility D, they found fresh footprints leading inward. The gate had opened again. As night fell, Lawson received an encrypted message on a secure phone. No sender ID, just coordinates in a single sentence. "If you want the truth, come alone." Against protocol and better judgment, she went. The location was a decommissioned guard station near the outer perimeter, overlooking the dark water of the bay. Inside, the lights were on, and standing there, unharmed, was Daniel Mercer. But he was not alone. Behind him stood Warden Charles Avery, calm, composed, holding a folder thick with documents. "You should not have gone underground," Avery said evenly. "Some doors cannot be closed once opened." Lawson realized then that Calderon's death had not been the beginning. It had been a warning. And now, she was standing face to face with a man who controlled the gate, with nowhere left to run. The gate closes. The guard station smelled of oil, old paper, and salt from the bay. Rebecca Lawson did not reach for her weapon. Warden Charles Avery noticed. He smiled faintly, as if that restraint confirmed something he already believed about her. "You came alone," Avery said. "That tells me you want the truth more than you want protection." Daniel Mercer stood between them, eyes hollow, jaw tight. He looked like a man who had crossed a line he could never step back from. "Talk," Lawson said. "Now." Avery placed the folder on the table and slid it toward her. Inside were bank transfers, shell companies, shipping manifests, and internal prison memos stamped approved. The gate was not just a smuggling route. It was a system. Drugs moved in. Information moved out. Favors were traded. Violence was managed, not eliminated. Just controlled enough to keep statistics clean. "You think prisons are about justice," Avery said quietly. They are about containment, and containment requires cooperation. Lawson flipped through the documents. Names leapt out. Politicians, contractors, senior corrections officials. The network reached far beyond San Quentin. Calderon was going to expose you, she said. He was going to expose chaos, Avery replied. If this collapsed overnight, bodies would pile up, inside and outside these walls. Mercer finally spoke. You promised me a transfer. And you will get one, Avery said. Out of state, new facility, new identity within the system. Lawson looked at Mercer. You helped kill Calderon. Mercer's voice cracked. I warned him. He didn't listen. He thought truth would protect him. Avery stepped closer. You see now, Agent Lawson, this place runs on quiet agreements. You can leave here tonight with your career intact. File a report. We bury Calderon as another gang casualty. Life goes on. Lawson closed the folder slowly. For a moment, the only sound was a distant hum of the prison behind them. Then she said, You underestimated one thing. Avery raised an eyebrow. And what is that? My backup. The floodlights outside snapped on. Sirens erupted again, louder than before. Boats cut across the bay, lights flashing. Tactical units swarmed the perimeter. Lieutenant Marcus Hale emerged from the shadows with a team of armed investigators. Avery's calm finally fractured. You said you came alone. I said I would, Lawson replied. I did not say I stayed alone. Mercer's knees buckled as officers restrained him. He did not resist. Avery was arrested without a struggle. The fallout was immediate and brutal. San Quentin went into total lockdown. Federal agencies descended on the prison. The tunnel beneath Facility D was sealed and excavated. Crates were cataloged. Money trails were followed. Arrests spread across counties and states. The gate was exposed to the public, stripped of its secrecy. But justice did not come cleanly. Some names vanished from the investigation. Others resigned quietly. A few charges were reduced. The official narrative framed Avery as a rogue administrator, an isolated corruption case. Lawson knew better. Weeks later, she stood alone in the yard where Raymond Calderon had died. The concrete had been scrubbed clean. The prison looked unchanged, as if nothing had happened at all. Hale joined her, hands in his pockets. They moved Mercer last night, he said. Protective custody, out of state. Alive? Lawson asked. For now. She nodded. And the others, some will face trial. Some will walk. Lawson looked up at the towers. They always do. As she turned to leave, a guard approached, pale and uneasy. Agent Lawson, he said, you should see this. In the control room, technicians replayed archived footage from a camera Lawson had not noticed before. Camera 22, buried in the system, never listed on any map. The timestamp was from the night Calderon died. The video showed Calderon entering the yard. Then another figure stepped into frame. Not Mercer, a correctional officer. Someone Lawson recognized. Her breath caught. Lieutenant Marcus Hale. The footage ended abruptly. Lawson felt the room tilt. She turned slowly. Hale met her eyes, expression unreadable. You weren't supposed to find that. You were part of it, she said, voice barely steady. Not the way you think, Hale replied. I kept it contained. Smaller, controlled. Avery expanded it. You lied, she said. Hale stepped closer. I protected this place from burning itself down. Lawson reached for her phone. Hale shook his head. If you expose this, everything we stopped comes back worse. New gate, new blood. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Lawson lowered the phone. I'm done, she said. I'm walking away. Hale exhaled, relief flickering across his face. Lawson left San Quentin that day. Officially, the case was closed. 3 months later, a body was found near a private transfer dock outside another California prison. Hands bound with bed sheets. A small mark on the back of the neck. Scratched into the concrete nearby was a familiar symbol. A gate, half open. If this story shook you, you already know. Darkness does not end when a door closes. And if you think this was intense, you are not ready for the next one. subscribe, and stay watching.